So my name is Jasmine O'Reilly. I am the founder and managing director of the Outlier Group, and we are a project management, change management, and strategy agency based here in Brisbane. And we're a 5-year-old company that's been growing, I think, exponentially year on year for the last 5 years, hoping to really shake up how project work and even business is delivered in Australia and beyond.
Fantastic. Describe any business goals or the factors that made you consider the concept of offshoring.
So for us as a small business that's been growing so quickly, there's only so much time in the day and so much limit to how much reach and impact our small team could have. And for us, it's not necessarily about the billables. It's more about how many people can we work with and transform how they do business. And so with a small team based locally, we had reached our limit and we were looking to expand that and cast that net broader, which is what made us consider offshoring and bringing in some back of house team members to allow us to do that so that we could maximize our time whilst also doing those growth initiatives as well. When it came to landing on people partners, I always say to anybody that project management is people management. And for me personally, it's all about working with people that you've got great chemistry with and that philosophically agree with when it comes to doing business. And fortuitously, Anthony from People Partners and we did connect. It was great to connect with you, Anthony. And it happened to be right place, right time. And we had a meeting that wasn't even necessarily about offshoring. It was just about how can we collaborate and work together. And I thought, hey, there's a great opportunity here for me to bring forward that initiative of having a back of house offshoring team. And Anthony made that happen for me really quickly. Yeah, it was all about the relationship. What was really surprising for me was when Anthony and I sat down to really strategically look at offshoring and how that could benefit the company. There was a real mindset shift in that initial discussion of you don't need a person to take away the job. It's more about how do you build the team and build the capability to optimize your time. And that was a subtle but really important mindset shift for me. And the role I thought we were going to have as an offshore team member completely evolved into something else. The person that we have, Arvin, he's fantastic. He is almost like an extension of me. He was doing one of my portfolios and we work hand in glove together. It's not a team member that's far away, very much part of our team, and has definitely helped optimize my time and allow me to do more of the things that are high value and also the things that I love doing in my own business. So overall, I'm a much happier founder now that I've got that resource helping me. We went into this whole experience thinking that we were looking for a marketing manager, which we were. But what we came away with and working with the People Partners team was a marketing manager, come social media manager, come digital marketing specialist who's also brilliant at website. And Anthony did warn me that would be a unicorn, but we went through the whole process with the People Partners team and they were literally there leading the charge and holding our hand every step of the way. They made it incredibly easy. So that was right from raising the job requisition to getting candidates that were already pre-screened and shortlisted for us, to being with us during the interview process, to helping us. Like there was nothing we couldn't do in terms of could we have extra questions at the interview or have an assignment for our interviewees. It was all on the table and they really helped us get the candidate that we needed. Even post onboarding, they made that experience exceptionally smooth for our resource based offshore and have checked in with him every step of the way. And he feels as much an Outlier team member as he does a People Partners team member. And it's so heartwarming to see all of the retreats that the People Partners team do. They go above and beyond to celebrate the team members' birthdays, and they're forever touching base with us about how are we going, how can we improve, how can we go above and beyond and surprise and delight your employees. It's been really encouraging and heartwarming, I would say, to work with the People Partners team. And I spoke before about us being philosophically aligned because when Outlier go into our clients' organizations, we feel part of the team and part of the furniture from day one. And that's how we've felt working with People Partners. It's an extension of our team, and you don't just get one or many offshore resources to work with you. You get a whole company behind you with your best interests at heart. So it's been a very positive experience. Yes, so we're, as I mentioned, a small business that's rapidly evolving and forever scenario planning. Which road will we take? But in the last 12 months, we've really been leaning into events and expanding our scope beyond Queensland and even looking internationally to have more resources that can help us with event management and even the PR space where I've been working myself personally. Also, to get our team members and our name out there globally, I think there's a huge opportunity to do more with the PeoplePartners team because they're very efficient and very happy to help. So we'll definitely be looking to expand and have more offshore team members in the future supporting our onshore team.
Amazing. That's good, Jess. Thank you for that. But one of the things that I've noticed is when we work with larger companies in particular, change management is something that we've noticed more and more over the last 16 years. So when we have small boutique firms, solopreneurs, small to medium, it's the owner that we work with, and we can easily focus on not only the roles they know they need, their shark bite problems, as we call them, but we can also work with them strategically through workforce reengineering. So whether that be a manual process or through our AI tools. But what I've been noticing with our big companies, both in Australia and US and Canada in particular, is there are lots of departments with dozens, if not hundreds of people in those departments. And we find that we can best serve them by looking department by department and re-engineering their needs. And as an expert in project management, change management, and influencing big enterprise companies, as well as some really cool, unique companies I know recently with some contracts that you've gotten. Congratulations. What do you think of that whole piece around change management and how something that we do, which you know a little bit intimately because we did workforce re-engineer with you early on in a different way. Yeah, I just wanted you to speak as the expert in that whole space about how business people think.
Yeah, it's a really good question. And I am really encouraged by the spotlight coming back onto change management for a very long time, 30 plus years. It's been this discipline that's added on to a project at the last minute, and it's done okay, but it could be much better. And so our organization are really shaking things up a little bit with a fresh approach to change, which isn't rocket science, which is really encouraging. And I like to say to any organization that I work with or that I'm speaking with that it actually doesn't matter what you do or how big your company is. Fundamentally, humans are the same. We are unique, but there are things that motivate all of us. And those things are tell me what's happening as early as possible and give me a voice and also care about me, engage with me, take the time to understand my experience, and we're going to have a better outcome. Change will not be something you add onto a project. It's something that's seamlessly done the whole time. And it doesn't even have to be project work, Anthony. It can be business, just business generally. So taking the time to, again, we're back to relationships, meet with people, build a relationship with them over time, you can structure your organization differently. You can bring in new technology and they're along with you for the journey because that's the other thing we know about humans. It is a myth that people don't like change. Change happens to us every single day. But if you're empowered and you're brought on the journey, it's seamless.
And what do you think? Because as an entrepreneur, sometimes the concept of change management is quite a bureaucratic buzzword that, as a fast-paced leader and entrepreneur, my eyes roll at that statement. But again, as I've said to you, that the concept of working with medium to large to enterprise companies that genuinely have lots of people and processes in place that we've got to maneuver any large change. And with what we do, obviously introducing, first of all, offshore talent, but then possibly introducing and reimagining how onshore and offshore roles work. The concept of change management, like it is a real thing, isn't it? It's not just a government buzzword that entrepreneurs should roll their eyes at, right?
Yes, I think it's a fair stigma about change management. The methodology itself or the practice of it is actually built on psychology. So that's why you see those traditional curves and there's depression and anger and guilt. That actually doesn't work for business. And that's why there's a whole suite of people who do this as a career and they're very good at it, but they're constrained to a certain way of delivering change. So it's encouraging now. And I think the time is now to do change differently. And we talk about integrating it as part of business so it doesn't feel like an add-on, like a symbolic, I've got to do this because it's on a checkbox sort of initiative, and it should be from day one, and it should be ongoing if you are a leader. So yeah, I absolutely understand why there's that stigma and people do roll their eyes, because it was done a bit haphazardly, and that square peg round hole approach, it just doesn't work anymore. The workforce is changing, not just onshore and offshore resourcing, but just what do we care about? We're a post-COVID world now. We've got millennials and Gen Zs coming up who care about completely different things from the older generations. To connect with them regularly and consistently, it's a game changer for businesses. And I've never ever done a change project where the best idea did not come from someone on the front line every single time. So if you're an executive leader or a head office person, you are doing yourself a disservice if you are not doing change management every single day.
Yeah. Do you think that change management, with or without the calling it that, because of the stigmas, do you think it is a real factor in every project? Like, when is it too much to consider this is a thing, we need to give it a voice that there is change, versus just let's get on with it, don't make a mountain out of a molehill? That's an old statement. Geez, I sound older than a Gen X there. I sound like a baby boomer. Yeah, when do you feel that change management is a real thing versus an unnecessary consideration? Do you think it's the size of a project, the size of a company, or, as you said, do you see it as an ever looming presence?
Definitely an ever blooming presence. Anything that you're doing, whether it's a project or business as usual, if it impacts people, then you have to consider change management. And I've never met a project that doesn't impact people. Even some of your big sort of data warehouses and construction projects, there's a people element to that every single time if you're working with stakeholders. I think it's a must have. The degree in which how light or how heavy that change is and the change activity can change. But the other thing that I think is really important to note, and this is what I'm personally wanting to change here in Australia and beyond, is having a change plan and having a change assessment is not change management. Change management is doing the doing, it's hitting the pavement, it's actually doing what you say you're going to do, engaging with people and living it. Plan is not enough.
Yeah. And do you find that, like, at Outlier and the great work that you do, you find that people invest in the concept of an assessment or a plan and then just don't execute?
Oh, absolutely. Particularly in my industry and project management, some of those philosophies, which are also they're 30 plus years old, they came out before I was born, they have it as a checklist item. There are no quality indicators or KPIs that say, actually, how good was this change? What are you actually measuring here? And it should be employee satisfaction or customer satisfaction or feedback that you get. We don't often go to that last mile and actually see, are we leaving a legacy? Were they benefited for the better of their livelihoods? We do only a third of the job at the moment. So there's plenty that can be done. And as I say, it's quite simple.